Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Star Wars channel. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe it's been a long day in your own galaxy, or maybe you're simply ready to drift into the stars, to that quiet place where peace, balance, and destiny whisper like wind through the Force. For now, there is nothing you need to do except let your breath slow. Let your thoughts drift like ships in hyperspace, and allow your heart to grow wonderfully still. Because tonight, we're not just falling asleep. We're journeying through the golden age of the Jedi, to a time of radiant peace and gentle wisdom. From the luminous halls of the Jedi Temple to the farthest edges of the Outer Rim, from starlight beacons' shining promise to the whispered songs of Kyber crystals. This is your serene passage through 100 sleepy facts about the High Republic. So find your most comfortable position, close your eyes, and may the Force be with you. Always. 1. Dawn of a brighter galaxy. In the quiet dawn of the High Republic, the galaxy stirred with a rare and peaceful harmony. Star systems glowed like scattered lanterns across the void, each one connected by hope, trust, and the guiding hand of the Jedi. It was an age untouched by great wars, where exploration blossomed like wildflowers in a meadow of starlight. The Republic stretched outward with gentle ambition, believing deeply in unity, justice, and possibility. Worlds far from the core felt perhaps for the first time that they truly belonged. In this soft beginning, the Force hummed with optimism, carrying whispers of countless futures. And in that luminous calm, the next chapter of the galaxy began to unfold. 2. The Jedi at their zenith. During the High Republic, the Jedi were not weary warriors, but radiant stewards of peace, walking the galaxy like living beacons. Their robes flowed like sunlight, their sabers hummed with quiet purpose, and their presence brought comfort to distant worlds. They meditated deeply, listened carefully, and acted only when balance required their hand. This was the Order at its spiritual height, united, harmonious, and deeply in tune with the currents of the Force. Across the stars, they were greeted not with fear, but with reverence, as symbols of wisdom rather than symbols of war. And from their serenity arose the strength to face whatever shadows lingered unseen. 3. Harmony across the Republic. The Republic of this golden age was a gentle constellation of cultures, each contributing its own light to the wider tapestry. Core worlds thrummed with art and innovation, while frontier settlements dreamed of growth beneath unfamiliar skies. Trade routes shimmered with possibility, and diplomats traveled like wandering storytellers, sharing ideas that inspired collaboration instead of conflict. People believed in the great works, vast projects meant to uplift entire regions, connecting worlds through kindness and cooperation. It was a time when hope felt woven into the very star lanes, and even the darkest corners of space seemed a little less lonely. And in that harmony, another tale of light quietly began to rise. 4. The light of the starlight beacon. In the far reaches of the Outer Rim, where stars drifted like lonely embers, the Republic built its most hopeful creation, the Starlight Beacon. More than a station, it was a promise, a radiant lantern meant to guide travelers, heal the wounded, and bring distant worlds into a shared embrace. Its spires shone like polished ivory, catching the glow of nearby suns. Jedi, healers, scholars, and explorers worked side by side, their footsteps echoing softly through its peaceful halls. To the frontier, starlight was a symbol that they were not forgotten. that light reached even the quietest corner of the galaxy. And within that light, new stories of courage slowly began to awaken. 5. A galaxy without war. Before the storms of later eras, the galaxy of the High Republic knew an almost mythic calm, a rare period where great battles were only memories stored in old holocrons. Worlds prospered not through conquest, but through cooperation. Governments debated with patience, and borders remained open like welcoming doorways. The Jedi's role was not to fight, but to guide, ensuring harmony rather than enforcing order. It was a time when fear did not linger in the air, and the hum of hyperspace engines carried travelers toward discovery instead of escape. In that serenity, the galaxy breathed freely, unburdened by the weight of conflict, and in that deep breath, destiny quietly shifted. 6. The first seeds of darkness. Yet even in the brightest golden ages, shadows grow in places where few think to look. In hidden corners of uncharted space, whispers of danger began to flutter like distant thunder. Strange hyperspace anomalies flickered in and out of existence. Rumors of violent raids haunted frontier travelers, and somewhere, far from the core's warm light, forces were gathering, patient, cunning, and hungry for power. Most citizens slept peacefully beneath their gentle skies, unaware that the galaxy's calm was not eternal. But the Force felt it, a tremor, a warning, a shift in the cosmic wind. And from that subtle unease, the first threads of a darker tale began to weave themselves. 7. Exploration in the Outer Rim. During the High Republic, the Outer Rim was a frontier of quiet mystery, a vast expanse where starlight drifted across uncharted worlds like soft lanterns in the dark. Explorers, often guided by Jedi, mapped new hyperspace routes with patience and wonder. They stepped onto untouched soil, listened to the wind of unfamiliar atmospheres, and greeted civilizations the Republic had never known. Each discovery felt like opening a window in a long-forgotten temple, letting in the scent of new possibilities. These journeys were made not for conquest, but for connection, so that distant systems might someday share in the galaxy's gentle prosperity. And with each new horizon, the tapestry of the Republic became just a little brighter. 8. The rise of the great hyperspace lanes. In this golden age, hyperspace was not merely a network of routes. It was the lifeline binding thousands of worlds together. Engineers and navigators worked tirelessly to stabilize corridors once thought too dangerous to cross. Their efforts created the great hyperspace lanes, shining paths through the cosmic storm, allowing travelers to glide between systems in graceful arcs of light. These lanes became the arteries of the Republic, carrying aid, knowledge, and culture across vast distances. When ships emerged from hyperspace, they did so like falling stars, leaving shimmering trails behind them. And along those graceful paths, a sense of unity slowly took root across the galaxy. 9. Navigators of the far frontier. To guide ships through the uncertain reaches of the Outer Rim, the Republic relied on skilled navigators whose instincts danced just ahead of danger. Some were part of noble guilds. Others were independent wanderers who treated the stars as lifelong companions. They read hyperspace like a musician reads music, sensing its rhythms, listening to its currents, adjusting their course with gentle precision. Many carried old star charts etched with family markings, reminders that exploration was a legacy as much as a profession. Their calm voices soothed anxious travelers, promising safe passage through the cosmic dark. And with every journey completed, another thread of trust wove itself through the galaxy's expanding map. 10. The golden cloaks of the Jedi. In the High Republic, Jedi attire carried a quiet symbolism, warm hues of cream, gold, and sand that reflected the era's radiant peace. Their cloaks flowed like sunlit banners, catching soft breezes on temple balconies and fluttering gently as they walked among the people they served. These garments were not meant to impress, but to comfort, offering a visual reminder that the Jedi were guardians of warmth rather than warriors of fear. When sunlight touched the fabric, it shimmered with a serene glow, as though echoing the calm presence of the Jedi themselves, and each soft rustle of those cloaks hinted at stories yet unwritten, waiting in the stillness of the Force. 11. The songs of the Kyber. Throughout the galaxy, Kyber crystals whispered their ancient melodies to those who could truly listen. To the Jedi of the High Republic, these songs were clearer than ever. Gentle resonances that vibrated through meditation chambers and illuminated caves. Padawans described the hum of Kyber as a warm pulse, like the heartbeat of a distant star. Each crystal sang differently, shaped by the unique connection it shared with its chosen Jedi. When brought together, their harmonies intertwined in soft, shimmering chords that filled the temples with quiet beauty. And far beneath the surface of countless worlds, the Kyber continued to sing, guiding those attuned to its luminous call. 12. Avar Kriss and the Light of Unity. Among the shining figures of this era, Avar Kriss stood as a beacon of harmony, a Jedi whose connection to the Force flowed like music. She perceived its currents as radiant songs, weaving melodies of unity that linked Jedi across great distances. Her presence brought stability to chaos, helping others find calm, even in moments of fear. Avar's leadership was gentle yet steady, shaped not by authority, but by empathy, compassion, and unwavering devotion to peace. To those who served beside her, she was a lighthouse in the storm, guiding, grounding, and inspiring all at once. And through her luminous example, the next strands of the High Republic's legend began to unfold. 13. Elzar Mann's restless strength. In the serene glow of the High Republic, Elzar Mann stood apart, a Jedi gifted with extraordinary intuition, yet forever drawn to explore the Force in ways others hesitated to follow. His mind moved like shifting tides, drifting toward possibilities unseen by most. Elzar approached the Force with an artist's curiosity, shaping visions and techniques that flowed beyond traditional forms. Though restless at times, his heart was guided by compassion, and his courage shone brightest when the galaxy trembled. He was a reminder that even in peaceful ages, the path of a Jedi is not one of perfection, but of honest striving. And in the depths of his searching, new facets of the Force quietly revealed themselves. 14. Stellan Gios, Guardian of Balance. Where Elzar's energy surged like a storm at sea, Stellan Gios stood as the steady shore, disciplined, principled, and deeply committed to the ideals of the Order. His presence brought calm to rooms filled with uncertainty, and his voice often carried the weight of clarity when others faltered. Stellan believed that peace was not merely the absence of conflict, but the result of deliberate understanding. With his blue lightsaber shining like a serene flame, he carried himself with the quiet confidence of a guardian shaped by empathy. His steadiness anchored those around him, forming a triangle of harmony with Avar Kriss and Elzar Mann. And through that balance, the Jedi Order found a pillar of unwavering light. 15. The wisdom of Master Yoda. Even in this golden age, long before the rise of Skywalkers and Sith empires, Master Yoda wandered the galaxy as a gentle guide. His steps were small, but his influence vast, moving from world to world to ensure that peace touched every corner of the Republic. Yoda taught not through power, but through patience, offering lessons wrapped in riddles that encouraged reflection and humility. Younglings gathered around him like quiet suns orbiting an ancient star, comforted by his soft laughter and steady presence. Though centuries of trials still lay ahead, in the High Republic, he was simply a wise traveler, nurturing harmony wherever he went. And with each whispered teaching, the future of the Jedi grew a little brighter. 16. Younglings of a Peaceful Age. In the High Republic, younglings studied in a world untouched by the shadow of great wars. Their days were spent in bright training halls, where sunlight filtered through tall windows and danced across polished floors. They learned the ways of the Force with laughter, curiosity, and gentle encouragement from their teachers. Lessons were not rushed. They unfolded like blooming flowers, allowing each child to discover their own rhythm with the Force. At night, younglings drifted to sleep under the soft glow of temple lanterns, comforted by the sense that the galaxy was safe beyond their walls. And within those peaceful dreams, the seeds of future Jedi quietly took root. 17. The Great Jedi Temples. Across the Republic, Jedi temples rose like sacred sanctuaries, places where silence felt alive and the Force flowed with tranquil elegance. The central temple on Coruscant shimmered with golden light, its spires stretching toward the sky as though listening to the whispers of the stars. Within its halls, masters walked in contemplative calm, their footsteps echoing softly along ancient stone paths worn by generations. Far from the core, smaller temples glowed like lanterns on distant worlds, each shaped by local culture, yet united by a shared devotion to peace. Pilgrims often visited these sanctuaries simply to sit, breathe, and feel the quiet presence of the Force. And from each temple's heart, wisdom radiated outward like gentle waves. 18. Librarians of the Force. The archives of the High Republic were tended by Jedi librarians whose minds were as serene as still ponds. They dedicated their lives to gathering knowledge, holocrons, manuscripts, ancient star maps, and stories whispered across centuries. Their touch was gentle, their patience endless, for they understood that wisdom was a living thing that grew only when nourished. Padawans often sought them out, drawn to their calm voices and endless curiosity. In the quiet corners of the archives, one could hear the soft hum of data scrolls and the delicate turning of pages, like the galaxy itself sighing in contentment. And through these guardians of memory, the past continued to guide the present with quiet grace. 19. Peacekeepers, not warriors. During the High Republic, the Jedi were shaped not by battle, but by compassion. They walked the galaxy as mediators, healers, and guides, choosing dialogue before conflict and understanding before force. Their lightsabers remained symbols of protection rather than weapons of war, often staying clipped at their belts, while their words resolved what blades never needed to touch. On distant worlds, their arrival brought comfort, not fear. They listened deeply to those in distress, offering solutions rooted in fairness and empathy. In their presence, even crowded marketplaces or tense council chambers seemed to exhale and soften. And in every peaceful encounter, the galaxy felt just a little more united, a little more calm. 20. The calm before the storm. Though the High Republic shimmered with harmony, the Force carried subtle ripples, quiet warnings that change would one day come. Jedi Masters felt these tremors like faint echoes at the edge of meditation, as though the future tugged gently at their thoughts. Yet life continued in its gentle rhythm. Starships drifted through warm hyperspace lanes, children laughed in temple courtyards, and diplomats shared stories beneath twilight skies. No one imagined how swiftly serenity could shift. But the Force remembers all tides, the rise, the fall, and the moments of stillness between. And in that delicate stillness, the seeds of transformation waited patiently to emerge. 21. The Nihil gather in the shadows. Beyond the warm glow of the Republic's borders, in regions where starlight dimmed and maps grew uncertain, the Nihil began to rise. They were marauders shaped by chaos, guided not by unity, but by the thrill of disruption. Their ships lurked behind drifting asteroid fields, emerging like storms without warning. To the settlers of the frontier, their names spread in frightened whispers carried between lonely outposts. Yet at first, the Republic paid little attention, believing these raiders to be nothing more than scattered criminals. But deep in the shadows, the Nihil were gathering strength, guided by a leader whose secrets cut through hyperspace itself. And from that gathering darkness, the first true threats to the Golden Age began to stir. 22. The Tempest Runners' cruel raids. Within the fractured hierarchy of the Nihil, the Tempest Runners ruled like storm captains, each commanding their own violent domain. Their fleets drifted through the outer rim like thunderheads, unpredictable and fierce, descending upon unsuspecting settlements with terrifying speed. Entire villages would wake to the howl of engines tearing through the night, their safety shattered by beings who thrived on fear. Unlike the Jedi, who sought harmony, the Tempest Runners cared only for control through chaos. Yet even in this brutality, the Force observed quietly, weaving consequences the Nihil could not see. And from the ashes of each raid, a quiet determination began to bloom across the Republic, a resolve to protect the fragile peace that so many cherished. 23. The unpredictability of the paths. The Nihil's greatest weapon was not their numbers, nor their ferocity, but the mysterious paths, hyperspace routes unknown to the Republic and impossible to predict. One moment, space was silent. The next, a Nihil ship burst from hyperspace at an impossible angle, as though reality itself had bent to their will. Navigators and Jedi alike found themselves baffled, unable to trace how such routes existed at all. These paths transformed the Nihil from scattered raiders into a force capable of striking anywhere, at any moment. For frontier settlers, the stars no longer felt steady, and in that growing uncertainty, the galaxy learned that even the brightest eras can hide shadows yet uncharted. 24. Martian Ro's hidden plan. At the heart of the Nile storm stood Martian Ro, a figure shrouded in whispers, his intentions as veiled as the void between stars. While others reveled in chaos, Ro moved with chilling purpose, orchestrating the paths and the Tempest Runners like pieces on a vast unseen board. He carried an ancient legacy, one he guarded fiercely, its weight pressing against the fabric of the Force itself. Few understood the depth of his ambitions, but those who glimpsed his gaze felt a coldness that seemed to reach beyond the present moment. And from within that darkness, a plan was forming, one that would shake the High Republic to its very core. 25. Whispers of an ancient power. Deep within forgotten corners of the galaxy, older than the Republic, and older still than the Jedi Order, subtle echoes stirred in the Force. These whispers drifted like cold winds through ancient ruins, hinting at powers long sealed away. Scholars debated their meaning, sensing that something primordial was shifting beneath the surface of history. Even the most attuned Jedi felt fleeting shivers in meditation, faint ripples that seemed to come from a time when the galaxy was wilder, untamed, and ruled by mysteries no archive recorded. Though few understood it, this ancient presence lingered like a shadow waiting for starlight to dim. And in that quiet whisper, the galaxy's future began to tremble ever so softly. 26. Life on the Starlight Beacon. Starlight Beacon was more than a symbol of unity. It was a home, floating serenely among distant stars. Its corridors were filled with gentle light, the kind that warmed rather than blinded. Families seeking refuge walked alongside explorers, preparing for new missions. Doctors, diplomats, and Jedi shared meals in peaceful gathering halls where stories carried across tables like friendly constellations. Even the hum of the station's engines felt calming, a steady heartbeat in the vastness of space. From its med center to its observation decks, Starlight offered comfort to all who entered its embrace. And through its open doors flowed the hope of a galaxy that believed unity could reach even the frontier's edge. 27. Healers of the Jedi Order. Among the many roles within the Jedi Order, none were as gently revered as the healers. With hands guided by patience and hearts attuned to the living force, they tended to both physical wounds and emotional hurts. Their chambers were filled with soft lights and aromatic herbs gathered from countless worlds, creating an atmosphere where the weary could finally exhale. Jedi healers listened as deeply as they mended, helping others rediscover balance within themselves. They believed that every being carried a spark worth nurturing, even in moments of fear or uncertainty. And in their healing touch, the galaxy felt the quiet reassurance that compassion was its strongest shield. 28. Pilots of the long hyperspace routes. Pilots of the High Republic were quiet adventurers, gliding through hyperspace with steady hands and calm hearts. Many flew long, unbroken routes that stretched across the outer rim, guiding vessels carrying settlers, scholars, and supplies to distant destinations. Their cockpits became tiny sanctuaries, dimly lit, filled with the soft hum of consoles and the swirling blues of hyperspace beyond the viewport. These pilots were more than navigators. They were lifelines, bridging worlds that might otherwise drift apart. They knew the feel of each lane, the subtle vibrations of an approaching storm, the gentle sway of a safe route. And with every peaceful journey completed, the galaxy's tapestry of connection grew just a little stronger. 29. The Star Cruisers of the Republic Defense. Despite the calm of the era, the Republic maintained graceful star cruisers to ensure safety along its farthest borders. These vessels were not instruments of intimidation, but guardians of stability, their hulls gleaming like polished ivory as they traversed starlit space. Crews aboard them worked with quiet discipline, tending to diplomatic escorts, search and rescue missions, and humanitarian aid. The hum of their engines echoed a sense of reassurance, a promise that help was always within reach. When a star cruiser descended onto a troubled planet, it brought relief rather than fear, its lights reflecting the Republic's hope for unity. And wherever these ships traveled, they carried gentle reminders that peace required not domination, but vigilance wrapped in compassion. 30. Diplomats of the Outer Rim. The far edges of the galaxy were threaded together by diplomats who traveled tirelessly from world to world, their voices as soft and steady as the glow of lanterns in a quiet night. They brought messages of cooperation, easing tensions before they hardened into conflict. Carrying data pads filled with treaties, histories, and cultural notes, these diplomats approached every meeting with humility, seeking to understand before being understood. Many of them forged lifelong friendships with the people they served, weaving bonds that extended far beyond politics. Their conversations, often held beneath foreign skies, shaped the character of the Republic's expansion. And in every peaceful accord reached, the dream of a unified galaxy drifted a little closer to reality. 31. Jedi bonded to noble beasts. Across the High Republic, some Jedi shared deep spiritual bonds with the creatures of the galaxy, noble beasts who seemed to sense the calm that radiated from their companions. On distant worlds, these partnerships formed naturally. A Jedi would approach with quiet patience, and the creature would respond with trust rather than fear. From mighty mounts capable of soaring through thin atmosphere to gentle woodland companions who padded softly beside their Jedi friends, these bonds reminded all who witnessed them that the Force connected every living thing. In moments of reflection, Jedi often rested their hands against warm fur or smooth scales, feeling the steady rhythm of shared breath. And in that peaceful unity, the galaxy felt just a little more whole. 32. The Guardians of the Kyber Caves. Hidden across ancient worlds were Kyber Caves, shimmering sanctuaries where crystals grew like luminous blossoms in the dark. Some Jedi dedicated their lives to watching over these sacred places, ensuring they remained untouched by greed or violence. These guardians walked softly through tunnels that hummed with quiet power, listening to the living songs of the crystals. Their duty was not only protection, but education, guiding young Jedi in understanding that Kyber was not merely a resource, but a living partner in the path of the Force. Lanterns cast gentle glows across walls that sparkled like frozen starlight, creating a sense of endless tranquility. And within those caves, countless futures waited patiently to be chosen. 33. Lightsaber artistry of the era. During the High Republic, lightsabers were crafted with a reverence that bordered on artistry. Jedi took their time, shaping each piece with careful intention, guided by the gentle resonance of their Kyber crystals. The designs of this era reflected elegance rather than aggression. Hilts adorned with polished metals, inlaid patterns, and subtle curves that balanced weight and form. When ignited, the blades glowed with pure, steady radiance, their hum soft and reassuring. Jedi saw their sabers not as weapons, but as symbols of harmony between themselves and the Force. Constructing one was a meditation, a promise, a quiet declaration of purpose. And with each completed saber, a new chapter of peace began to shine. 34. The Grace of the Vector. Starfighters. Among the sleek vessels of the High Republic, none embodied Jedi philosophy more elegantly than the Vector starfighters. These ships were crafted with minimalist beauty, narrow frames of polished metal, glowing accents, and wings that seemed to cut through space with quiet ease. Pilots described them as extensions of the self, responding to thought and intention as naturally as a breath. Their controls required a lightsaber to operate, symbolizing trust and unity between the Jedi and their machines. In flight, Vectors glided through the stars like silver birds, their engines humming in soft harmony with the Force. And in each graceful turn, they reminded the galaxy that even in motion, there can be serenity. 35. Scientists of the Republic. During the High Republic, learning flourished like a great bloom across the galaxy. Scientists, engineers, and researchers traveled between worlds, sharing discoveries that uplifted entire civilizations. Their laboratories were quiet havens where ideas drifted like motes of dust in gentle light, settling into new inventions that improved daily life. They studied hyperspace anomalies, mapped distant moons, and developed compassionate technologies meant to heal rather than harm. Collaboration was the heart of their work. No discovery belonged to one mind alone. In these places of thought, curiosity was cherished, and even the smallest breakthrough could ripple across the stars. And through their gentle dedication, the galaxy moved steadily toward understanding and unity. 36. The Age of Great Works. The High Republic was marked by ambitious projects known as the Great Works, vast endeavors designed to connect the galaxy, inspire cooperation, and nurture peace. From gleaming space stations to planetary infrastructure, these works were built not for power, but for the well-being of all. Starlight Beacon was the most famous, but countless others blossomed. Cultural centers, research hubs, and transport networks that sparkled like constellations of progress. Citizens felt pride in these creations, seeing them as gifts to the future rather than symbols of dominance. The Great Works embodied the Republic's highest ideals: hope, unity, and shared purpose. And through these shining achievements, the era's golden light stretched farther than ever before. 37. The Promise of a Connected Galaxy. In the High Republic, the dream of a connected galaxy shimmered like a constellation waiting to be traced. Worlds that had once felt isolated now sensed the gentle warmth of unity reaching their shores. New hyperspace relays pulsed with soft light, guiding travelers safely through the stars. Cultural exchanges blossomed, allowing distant civilizations to meet through shared art, music, and philosophy. The Republic believed that every world, from the core to the frontier's edge, had something precious to offer. This era held an unshakable faith that connection would bring harmony rather than conflict. And through each quiet collaboration, the galaxy felt itself drawn closer, thread by glowing thread, into a single tapestry of peace. 38. Architects of Peace. The High Republic's greatest builders were not only engineers, but visionaries. Architects who shaped structures that honored harmony rather than power. They designed sweeping temples, open plazas, and serene observation decks where starlight fell like gentle rain. Every building carried intention: to welcome, to inspire, to soothe. Their blueprints were filled with curved lines that echoed the natural flow of the Force, inviting calm and reflection. When settlers on the Outer Rim saw these new structures rising on their worlds, they felt the steady hands of the Republic reaching out to guide them. And with every foundation laid, the promise of lasting peace settled deeper into the stones and soil of the galaxy. 39. The Cultural Renaissance of Worlds. With peace came creativity, and during the High Republic, the galaxy bloomed with artistic expression. Poets shared their verses on floating stages above city skylines. Musicians composed symphonies inspired by the hum of hyperspace lanes. Sculptors carved shimmering figures from luminous stone, shaping forms that seemed almost alive in the moonlight. Even small frontier towns celebrated festivals filled with color, dance, and laughter. These creations were not born of rebellion or sorrow, but of joy. The joy of a society with room to dream. And as travelers moved between systems, they carried these songs and stories like lanterns in their hearts. And across the galaxy, the light of culture grew brighter, shining softly into the future. 40. Festivals beneath the stars. Across the peaceful expanse of the High Republic, countless worlds celebrated the era's harmony with gentle festivals that glowed beneath the night sky. Lanterns drifted upward like tiny suns, carrying wishes for continued unity. Families gathered in quiet courtyards, sharing stories passed down through generations. Musicians played soft melodies that rippled through warm evening air, blending with the distant hum of passing starships. Children traced constellations with sleepy eyes, wondering what distant lives might be gazing back at them. These festivals were not grand displays of power, but simple affirmations of connection, reminders that even in a vast galaxy, joy could be shared. And in every lantern released, the hope of the era rose a little higher into the stars. 41. Jedi meditation practices. In tranquil chambers across the Order, Jedi practiced meditation that flowed like water through stone. They sat in circles, breathing slowly, allowing the currents of the Force to wash over them in gentle waves. Some focused on the living Force, feeling the heartbeat of every creature nearby. Others drifted into the cosmic Force, sensing time stretch outward like an endless horizon. These practices were not merely exercises. They were rituals of harmony, grounding each Jedi in purpose and compassion. Soft chimes marked the passing of moments, echoing through serene halls where even silence felt alive. And with each breath, their connection to the galaxy deepened, steadying them for whatever paths lay ahead. 42. The music of the Force. To many Jedi of the High Republic, the Force was not only energy, it was music. Subtle harmonies threaded through their perceptions, as if the universe played an eternal symphony only the attuned could hear. Some described it as a warm choir of distant stars, others as a single note that vibrated gently through all living things. Master musicians sought to replicate these tones, creating instruments that echoed the soothing resonance of the Force itself. In meditation gardens, these melodies drifted across calm pools, mingling with the soft rustle of leaves. Listening to them felt like floating through starlight, and in those tender harmonies, the galaxy seemed to breathe in peaceful unison. 43. The beauty of the core worlds. At the heart of the Republic lay the core worlds, planets bathed in gentle light, their skylines rising like shimmering spires into soft, cloud-dappled skies. These worlds thrived in harmony, their cultures flourishing under centuries of stability. On Coruscant, dawn broke in pale gold, casting warm reflections across the mirrored surfaces of its countless towers. On Alderaan, rolling meadows swayed beneath crisp, peaceful breezes as citizens greeted one another with unhurried smiles. Each core world felt like a carefully tended garden, shaped by generations who believed in community and compassion. Travelers wandering through these serene landscapes often felt the Force settle quietly around them. And from this tranquil center, the galaxy's golden age radiated outward in calming waves. 44. Sanctuary on Naboo. Naboo glowed like a jewel of serenity during the High Republic, a world where lush green hills rolled toward mirror-still lakes and soft sunlight danced upon the waters. Elegant cities blended seamlessly with the natural world, their domes and arches reflecting the gentle philosophies of their people. Beneath the surface, the Gungan realms thrived in their own peaceful harmony, illuminated by bioluminescent flora that swayed like underwater galaxies. Visitors to Naboo often described the world as a sanctuary, a place where time seemed to slow and burdens melted into the quiet beauty of the landscape. It was a reminder that peace could take many forms: political, cultural, and deeply personal. And in Naboo's stillness, the promise of the High Republic felt especially warm. 45. Lush life on Kashyyyk High. In the towering rasher trees of Kashyyyk, life unfolded in gentle rhythms, guided by nature and tradition. Wooden walkways connected vast treetop villages, their lanterns glowing softly in the evening mist. The Wookiees lived in harmony with their towering forests, honoring each branch, leaf, and root as part of a vast, living tapestry. Jedi who visited these heights often found themselves breathing more deeply, calmed by the whisper of wind through ancient leaves. Below, the forest floor teemed with life, creatures moving through dappled shadows, rivers flowing like quiet songs. Kashyyyk was a world of strength, yes, but also profound peace. And in its endless green canopy, the Force pulsed like a steady, comforting heartbeat. 46. The cold silence of Ilum. Far from the warmth of the core, the world of Ilum lay wrapped in eternal winter, a planet where silence reigned like a guardian spirit. Snow fell in slow, gentle spirals, blanketing the surface with a softness that seemed to hush even the wind. Beneath the ice, the sacred Kyber crystals waited in their shimmering caverns, glowing faintly like stars trapped inside frost. Jedi who journeyed to Ilum did so with reverence, treading lightly across frozen ridges as they prepared to find the crystal meant only for them. The cold did not bite. It simply invited stillness. And within that crystalline quiet, many discovered truths about themselves they had never known. And from that discovery, their path forward became just a little clearer. 47. Storms of the Outer Rim. On the far edges of the galaxy, the Outer Rim was shaped by wild storms that rolled across lonely horizons. Dust tempests swept through barren canyons. Lightning flickered across gas-giant skies, and winds howled like ancient spirits remembering forgotten wars. Settlers who made their homes here grew strong and patient, embracing the unpredictability of life on these frontier worlds. Jedi who visited often stood beneath these vast skies, feeling the pulse of raw nature thrumming through the Force. These storms were not symbols of danger, but of resilience, reminders that even harsh landscapes held their own kind of quiet beauty. And in every lull between the tempests, hope settled like calm rain upon the land. 48. Frontier settlers' dreams. Across the new and rising settlements of the Outer Rim, families built their futures with steady hands and hopeful hearts. They planted hardy crops in unfamiliar soil, raised homes from local stone and timber, and looked to the horizon each evening as twin suns dipped below rugged hills. Their days were filled with work, but also with wonder, the thrill of carving a life on worlds untouched by the core's old routines. Many welcomed Jedi visitors with warm meals and stories told by firelight, grateful for a reassuring presence so far from the shining center of the Republic. The settlers dreamed of prosperity, connection, and community. And with each sunrise, those dreams took one step closer to becoming reality. 49. Heroes without legends. Yet during the High Republic, many of the galaxy's greatest heroes lived far from fame. They were explorers, healers, young Jedi, or humble settlers whose names never reached the core worlds, yet their quiet acts of courage shaped destinies in ways few ever realized. A pilot steering a damaged relief ship safely through an ion storm, a Padawan calming a panicked village after a sudden quake, a frontier doctor saving lives with little more than determination and a well-worn medkit. These unsung figures carried the era's spirit in their steady hearts. Their stories rarely filled archives, but they lived on in the memories of those they touched. And in every gentle deed, the golden age glowed just a little brighter. 50. The training of Padawans. The training of Padawans during the High Republic was a journey shaped by patience and discovery, not urgency or conflict. In sunlit courtyards, young apprentices practiced forms slowly, their movements like ripples across still water. Masters guided them not with stern commands, but with gentle questions that encouraged reflection and clarity. Lessons stretched beyond saber techniques. They studied diplomacy, languages, meditation, and the delicate art of listening. In the evenings, Padawans often gathered beneath soft temple lanterns, sharing stories about their missions or their dreams for the future. Their friendships formed the quiet backbone of the era, weaving bonds that would endure even through distant trials. And in every small moment of learning, the future of the Jedi gently unfolded. 51. Masters who taught in whispered wisdom. Jedi, masters of the High Republic, carried themselves with a serene presence, their teachings flowing like calm rivers through the minds of their students. They spoke softly, allowing each lesson to settle naturally, as though the Force itself was guiding the conversation. Some taught through parables, weaving ancient tales into gentle guidance. Others taught through observation, inviting Padawans to feel the currents of the Force for themselves. Their wisdom was never rushed. It emerged slowly, shaped by empathy and centuries of experience. Padawans would often sit silently beside their masters, learning more from the stillness than from words. And through those whispered teachings, the foundations of countless futures were quietly strengthened. 52. Council within the Jedi Council. The Jedi Council of the High Republic was a chamber of serenity, where voices rarely rose above a gentle murmur. Masters gathered in a circle of soft light, their robes flowing like quiet streams as they contemplated matters of peace, exploration, and the shifting ripples of the Force. Decisions were made slowly, shaped by collective wisdom rather than impulse. Each master listened with an open heart, trusting that harmony revealed truth more clearly than argument ever could. Visitors entering the chamber often described feeling an immediate calm, as though the very air carried the echoes of centuries of reflection. And from this tranquil council, guidance spread across the galaxy like warm rays at dawn. 53. Visions of the Cosmic Force. Some Jedi of the High Republic were touched by visions, fleeting glimpses of the future carried on the wind of the cosmic force. These moments came softly, often during meditation or just before sleep, when the mind drifted near the edges of dreaming. The visions were rarely clear. They shimmered like constellations reflected in water, revealing possibilities rather than certainties. Jedi who received them treated these insights with humility, knowing the Force offered guidance, not commands. They spoke of feeling as though time itself breathed gently around them, whispering reminders of balance, destiny, and hope. And within each vision, the galaxy sensed hints of stories still waiting to unfold. 54. The Living Force in Bloom. During this golden era, the living Force pulsed vibrantly through every corner of the Republic. Jedi often paused simply to feel it. The warmth of sunlight on their skin, the quiet heartbeat of a creature resting nearby, the rise and fall of a distant ocean's tide. To them, the living Force was a reminder that life was not separate from the sacred, but a radiant expression of it. fields grew greener, forests deeper, oceans richer as civilizations worked in harmony rather than against nature. Even starships seemed to hum with gentler energy. And in that flourishing life, the Jedi found strength not from power, but from presence. 55. Jedi who dreamed of the stars. Among the Jedi of the High Republic were dreamers, knights and Padawans, who gazed at the night sky not to seek danger, but to wonder. They saw the stars as companions, distant yet comforting, each one a reminder of the infinite mysteries woven into the Force. These Jedi often volunteered for exploration missions, drawn toward the unknown like moths to soft starlight. In their journals, they wrote of quiet discoveries, a new moon rising over a forgotten world where the gentle hum of hyperspace felt like a lullaby. Their curiosity was gentle, not restless, and rooted in a love for understanding. And through their dreams, the galaxy expanded not by conquest, but by wonder. 56. Rangers of the High Republic. The Outer Rim was watched over by the Jedi Rangers, guardians who walked the frontier with a steady calm that reassured settlers in the most remote corners of the galaxy. Unlike temple-bound Jedi, Rangers spent their days among the people, traveling from world to world on long, meditative journeys. Their presence brought comfort to struggling outposts, where supplies were scarce and storms unforgiving. Rangers settled disputes with soft diplomacy, guided lost travelers through treacherous terrain, and offered wisdom to those living far from the Republic's bright center. Many slept beneath open skies, listening to the serene rustle of alien winds as they communed with the Force. And in their quiet vigilance, the frontier felt just a little safer. 57. The Scholar Knights. Not all Jedi chose the path of adventure. Some devoted themselves to study, becoming scholar knights who combed through ancient texts and far-flung ruins in search of lost knowledge. Their days were spent in candlelit chambers, turning delicate pages, or carefully brushing dust from artifacts buried for centuries. They sought wisdom, not for themselves, but for the Order and the Republic, believing that understanding the past illuminated the future. In quiet libraries, their lightsabers rested beside stacks of holocrons, symbols of balance between action and contemplation. These Jedi listened deeply to history, to the Force, and to the stories forgotten by time. And through their gentle scholarship, the galaxy remembered truths that might otherwise have faded into silence. 58. The Guardians of the Convocation. On the sacred world of Jedha, the Convocation of the Force gathered practitioners of many paths, each seeing the Force in a unique but harmonious way. Jedi, monks, pilgrims, and scholars walked the ancient steps leading to their meeting halls, their footsteps soft against stone polished by centuries of devotion. The guardians who protected these sanctuaries did so with quiet dignity, honoring every tradition represented within the Convocation's chamber. They mediated disputes with patience, listening more than they spoke, believing that peace sprang from understanding rather than dominance. In the amber glow of Jedha's setting sun, the Convocation stood as a living testament to unity within diversity, and in that sacred harmony, the Force felt especially alive, whispering through every breath of warm desert air. 59. The soul of Jedha, ancient and contemplative, pulsed with a spiritual weight unlike any world in the galaxy. Its deserts stretched outward like vast oceans of sand, each dune holding stories older than the Republic itself. Pilgrims traveled great distances to stand upon its sacred ground, hoping to feel even a faint echo of the Force's timeless presence. At night, The skies shimmered with constellations so crisp and bright that many claimed they could hear the stars singing. Temples carved into cliffs glowed softly from within, lantern light flickering like warm hearts sheltered against the cold. Those who visited Jeddah often returned changed, not by revelation, but by quiet clarity. And in that clarity, they found a stillness that lingered long after they departed. 60. Pilgrims who walked in silence. Across the High Republic, countless devotees journeyed to holy worlds, but none more humbly than the silent pilgrims of Jeddah. Wrapped in simple robes, they walked long distances without speaking a single word, choosing contemplation over conversation. Their silence was not a vow of withdrawal, but a practice of deep listening to the wind, to their hearts, and to the gentle murmurs of the Force. As they moved along ancient pathways, the soft crunch of sand beneath their feet created a rhythm as soothing as meditation. Even Jedi found inspiration in their stillness, often walking beside them for a time, letting the quiet wash away distractions. And with every unspoken step, peace moved softly across the face of the galaxy. 61. Temple archives, overflowing with knowledge. Within the vast Jedi archives, shelves stretched upward like ancient forests of wisdom, each holocron shimmering with the soft glow of recorded memory. Archivists moved quietly between rows, their robes brushing against polished floors that reflected the golden light of suspended lanterns. Every corner of the archives hummed with peaceful energy, a gentle reminder that knowledge was as sacred as the Force itself. Padawans often wandered through these aisles, their eyes wide with wonder, discovering tales of forgotten civilizations, distant star systems, and long-ago heroes whose deeds shaped the galaxy's spiritual foundation. Time seemed to slow inside these halls. Even the air felt reverent, as though holding its breath. And within that tranquil stillness, the future waited patiently to learn from the past. 62. Heirlooms of ancient Jedi. Scattered throughout the archives were heirlooms carried forward from generations of Jedi, artifacts infused with quiet echoes of those who once wielded them. A weathered training mask, its surface etched by centuries of careful use. A meditation stone smoothed by countless hands seeking balance. The broken hilt of a saber belonging to a knight who once saved an entire village with nothing more than courage and compassion. These relics were not treasures of prestige, but reminders of humility and service. Jedi would pause before them, placing a palm gently against the glass, feeling the soft vibration of the Force threaded through their history. And in these small, sacred remnants, the Order felt connected to a lineage of light stretching across millennia. 63. Kyber crystals singing together. In certain rare moments, Jedi traveling together could hear a phenomenon both extraordinary and serene. Kyber crystals harmonizing across great distances. When multiple Jedi attuned their minds during meditation, the crystals within their sabers would resonate softly, blending into a chorus that pulsed through the air like a lullaby woven from starlight. The sound was gentle, a faint, shimmering hum that warmed the heart and quieted the mind. Masters described it as the Force reminding them that unity was the foundation of all strength. Even Padawans, upon hearing these delicate harmonies, felt their worries ease and their breathing slow. And in that shared song, the Jedi Order found a profound reminder of their interconnected destiny. 64. Starships moving like falling leaves. In the gentle age of the High Republic, Many starships were crafted with a grace that mirrored the harmony of the era. Their sleek frames glided through the void, not with aggression, but with elegance, drifting as softly as falling leaves, carried by a calm breeze. Pilots often described the sensation of flying them as meditative, as though the vessels themselves understood the rhythms of the Force. Hulls gleamed under starlight, catching reflections of distant suns, while engines purred in peaceful hums that soothed even the most anxious traveler. Watching these ships descend onto quiet landing pads felt like witnessing a dance between sky and metal. And in their serene movement, the galaxy found a reminder that travel, too, could be an act of peace. 65. Diplomacy over battle. During the High Republic, the Republic's greatest victories came not from combat, but from dialogue. Diplomats, negotiators, and Jedi mediators traveled across hyperspace to ease tensions before they grew into conflict. They approached every disagreement with open hearts, believing deeply that understanding could mend even the oldest wounds. Meetings were held in sunlit chambers, where delegates from distant worlds shared food, stories, and moments of common ground. Many disputes dissolved long before they required intervention, resolved by nothing more than patient listening and gentle reassurance. Peace was not imposed, it was cultivated. And with every accord reached, the galaxy felt a little safer, wrapped in the quiet strength of cooperation. 66. Healing over harm. The spirit of the High Republic placed great value on healing, not only of bodies, but of communities, hearts, and histories. Jedi healers, Republic physicians, and local caretakers worked side by side, offering compassion wherever it was needed. Long after battles or natural disasters, teams of volunteers would arrive to rebuild homes, restore ecosystems, and soothe lingering grief. Medical frigates drifted through space like floating havens, their lights shining softly as they delivered relief to distant worlds. Even the Jedi, often seen as defenders, prioritized restoration above confrontation. To them, every act of healing was a celebration of the living force. And in those gentle efforts, the galaxy discovered that true strength came from care, not conflict. 67. Light without shadow. In the early High Republic, the galaxy basked in a rare moment where light seemed to hold every corner of existence. It was not a naive brightness, but a steady, confident glow, the kind that grows from years of collaboration, trust, and shared purpose. Jedi walked worlds where their presence brought quiet comfort, not trembling fear. Republic envoys traveled with open hands rather than clenched fists. Even distant frontier colonies felt the warmth of connection reaching across hyperspace. For a time, it appeared as though darkness itself had forgotten the galaxy. But the Force, ever balanced, whispered that no light remains untouched forever. And in that whisper, the first faint ripples of change stirred beneath the shining calm. 68. The first rumblings of fear. As the Golden Age stretched outward, small cracks began to form at its edges, barely noticeable at first, like tiny tremors beneath peaceful soil. Travelers spoke of strange disappearances along the outer hyperspace lanes. Merchants whispered about attacks so sudden they felt like waking nightmares. Jedi began sensing disturbances in meditation, fleeting pulses of unease that vanished almost as soon as they appeared. Most dismissed these early signs, believing the Republic too strong, its unity too deep to be shaken by scattered incidents. But fear has a quiet way of taking root, growing in the spaces where certainty once lived. And as those quiet fears spread, the galaxy's luminous peace trembled ever so slightly. 69. Survivors of the Great Disaster. When the great hyperspace disaster struck, it shattered the galaxy's tranquility like a sudden storm breaking a still pond. Fragments of a lost starship burst into real space across multiple systems, falling like blazing comets onto unsuspecting worlds. Survivors emerged from the wreckage dazed, surrounded by smoke, twisted metal, and the echo of chaos. Yet even amid destruction, hope endured. Jedi rushed to affected planets, lifting debris with gentle precision, soothing frightened crowds, and guiding rescue efforts with quiet determination. Their presence became a lifeline for countless beings navigating grief and shock. And in those moments of devastation, the true heart of the High Republic revealed itself, compassionate, resilient, and unyieldingly devoted to the light. 70. Worlds united in grief. In the aftermath of the great hyperspace disaster, entire systems paused in collective sorrow. Planets separated by light years felt tied together through shared mourning, their skies dimmed by drifting smoke and the ache of lives lost too suddenly. Memorials bloomed like solemn gardens, quiet spaces where families gathered to light candles, offer prayers, and hold one another close. Republic ambassadors traveled gently between these grieving worlds, offering condolences wrapped in understanding rather than formality. Even the Jedi lowered their heads in stillness, acknowledging the weight of so much pain echoing through the Force. And slowly, through compassion and unity, the galaxy began to heal. And from that healing came a renewed resolve, faint but steady, to protect the light they cherished. 71. Jedi standing against chaos. As fear spread through the galaxy, the Jedi stepped forward with the calm of ancient trees holding firm against wind. They organized relief efforts, secured endangered hyperspace routes, and mediated conflicts sparked by uncertainty. Jedi Knights patrolled space lanes where travelers trembled at the unpredictability of the paths, offering reassurance through their quiet presence. Padawans worked beside seasoned masters, learning how courage could take many forms. Sometimes a decisive action, sometimes a comforting word. Even in moments of tension, the Jedi refused to abandon their principles of peace and compassion. And in their steadfastness, the people of the galaxy felt a spark of hope returning to their hearts. 72. Avar's Song. Across the Galaxy. Avar, Chris, luminous and steadfast, became a guiding force during the chaos that followed the disaster. Through her rare connection to the Force, perceiving its flow like an immense, ever-shifting song, she united Jedi across sectors, allowing them to move in perfect harmony. During rescue missions, her presence felt like a warm melody threading through every action, steadying courage, easing fear, and amplifying cooperation. Knights who worked beside her spoke of feeling held together by an invisible rhythm, as though the galaxy itself hummed with renewed purpose. Her leadership was not born of command, but of empathy, woven into every note of her connection. And through that radiant song, hope spread like gentle starlight on the darkest night. 73. Elzar's Turbulent Heart. While the galaxy looked to Avar for harmony, Elzar Man carried a different melody, one shaped by curiosity, passion, and the restless pull of the unknown. His connection to the Force surged like ocean waves, sometimes peaceful, sometimes storming against the edges of his control. In quiet moments, he questioned himself, wondering whether his explorations brought him closer to understanding or closer to danger. Yet beneath that turbulence lived a profound compassion, a desire to protect others even at great personal cost. Jedi, who trained beside him, spoke of moments where he shone like a brilliant star, guiding them through uncertainty with instinctive wisdom. And within that flickering balance of doubt and brilliance, Elzar's journey shaped the fate of many yet to come. 74. Stellan's steady light. In contrast to Elzar's shifting tides, Stellan Gio stood like a pillar of gentle strength, a calm presence whose very footsteps seemed to anchor the ground beneath him. Known for his poise and clarity, Stellan helped guide the Order during its most uncertain hours, offering wisdom that felt grounded in centuries of tradition. Padawans found comfort in his steady voice, while fellow masters trusted his ability to see solutions hidden beneath layers of tension. His blue saber, when ignited, shone not with aggression, but with assurance, a reminder that light could be firm without being harsh. Stellan's legacy was one of balance, integrity, and quiet leadership. And through his unwavering presence, the Jedi found stability when shadows began to grow thicker. 75. The loss of Starlight Beacon. When Starlight Beacon fell, it was as though a star had gone out in the sky. A guiding light extinguished, leaving a sorrow that echoed across the galaxy. The great station, once a symbol of unity and hope, was consumed by chaos and flame, its radiant halls collapsing into the darkness of space. Survivors spoke in hushed tones of bravery and heartbreak, of Jedi who held the line until their final breath, and of citizens saved through acts of selfless courage. The Republic mourned deeply, feeling the loss not as a political blow, but as a wound to its very spirit. And in the silence that followed, the galaxy understood that even golden ages can fracture in a single moment. 76. A galaxy holding its breath. In the days following the fall of Starlight Beacon, the galaxy seemed to inhale and never quite exhale. Worlds lit memorial flames that flickered like trembling stars, while travelers spoke in hushed voices, unsure of what dangers might now drift through hyperspace. The once steady hum of the Republic felt dimmer, as though hope itself had retreated into quiet contemplation. Families gathered closer at night, listening for news carried across the star lanes. Jedi walked softly through temples, their steps echoing the weight of collective sorrow. Yet even in grief, the galaxy did not collapse. It paused, waited, and listened. And in that delicate stillness, the faint heartbeat of resilience could still be felt beneath the silence. 77. The darkness rising. As the Republic mourned, the shadows grew bolder. Whispers of the Nihil spread across distant worlds like cold fog curling around forgotten ruins. Their attacks became sharper, more deliberate, guided by a cunning that suggested a deeper power at work. Jedi sensed a chill in the Force, an unsettling dissonance that lingered at the edge of meditation, like a single discordant note in an otherwise gentle melody. The galaxy, once radiant with certainty, now flickered with doubt. Yet even amid fear, countless beings held to their courage, trusting that light endured even when unseen. And from that trembling edge between hope and dread, the next chapter of destiny began to form. 78. Jedi holding the line. Despite the rising chaos, the Jedi Order did not falter. Knights and Padawans alike stepped forward with quiet determination, offering comfort to frightened citizens and guiding evacuations on threatened worlds. They secured vulnerable hyperspace lanes, restored shattered communications, and soothed tensions between systems shaken by uncertainty. Their efforts were not marked by grand speeches or dramatic battles, but by steady presence, the kind that reassures simply by being there. Many slept little, meditating in short intervals beneath dim temple lights, letting the Force refill their strength drop by drop. And through their unwavering calm, the galaxy remembered that even in dark times, serenity can be a shield as powerful as any blade. 79. Avar's search for harmony. In the growing shadows of the era, Avar Kriss carried the weight of hope like a lantern held against a storm. She traveled tirelessly across the galaxy, seeking not only threats, but chances to restore balance. Her connection to the Force, the great song she perceived so clearly, had shifted. Notes that once rang bright and pure now trembled with tension, echoing uncertainty in distant corners of the Republic. Yet Avar did not despair. She listened more deeply, opening her heart to the melodies of every world she touched, the laughter of reunited families, the hum of healing centers, the quiet prayers of frontier farmers. And in those subtle harmonies, she found reassurance that the light had not faded, only softened, waiting to rise again. 80. Elzar's Road to Redemption. Haunted by visions and past mistakes, Elzar Mann walked a path both challenging and transformative. He sought guidance in solitude, meditating on remote outposts, where the wind carried only the whisper of leaves or the distant crash of waves. The Force, once turbulent within him, began to settle like a restless sea, growing calm after a long storm. He tended to injured civilians, helped rebuild devastated settlements, and spent evenings listening to the worries of ordinary people who found comfort in his presence. Through these acts of service, Elzar rediscovered the compassion at the core of his spirit, and with each gentle step, he proved that even a troubled heart can find its way back into the light. 81. Stellan's Final Stand. Echoing, still. Though Stellan Gios had fallen during the tragedy of Starlight Beacon, his legacy lingered like a warm ember held close. Jedi who had served with him spoke in quiet tones of his calm, leadership, his unshakable integrity, and the kindness he showed even during the era's most turbulent hours. His teachings lived on in Padawans, who repeated his meditative mantras, in knights who modeled their diplomacy after his patience, and in masters who remembered how he steadied them with a single thoughtful reminder. Even the Force seemed to carry traces of his gentle presence, woven into currents that soothed anxious minds in moments of doubt. And in that enduring memory, the Order found strength to continue forward, one peaceful breath at a time. 82. A new generation of Padawans. Even as the galaxy trembled, young Padawans continued their training with hearts full of hope. They practiced saber forms in quiet courtyards where lanterns swayed gently in the evening breeze, each movement guided by patience rather than urgency. Their masters encouraged reflection, reminding them that fear could dim the mind, but never the Force. Between lessons, Padawans shared soft laughter in temple gardens, feeding small creatures or tracing patterns in the soil as they talked about dreams for a brighter future. Their innocence was not naive. It was courageous, a belief that light would return because they would help guide it there. And in those youthful smiles, the Order glimpsed a dawn that had not yet risen, but surely would. 83. Teachings shared across worlds. In this shifting era, Jedi and citizens alike rediscovered the value of stories, small teachings carried across worlds like gentle seeds on the wind. Elders told tales of ancient heroes around community fires, their voices low and warm. Teachers on distant stations held quiet gatherings where children learned about compassion, resilience, and standing together even when afraid. Jedi Knights recorded their reflections in holocrons, offering guidance to future generations who might face similar trials. Every world added its own thread, weaving a tapestry of wisdom that stretched from core temples to outer rim shelters. And through those shared teachings, the galaxy found unity not through law or power, but through the simple act of remembering what mattered most. 84. The Force connecting all things. In the High Republic's most uncertain moments, the Jedi returned to the simplest and most profound truth. The Force connected everything. It flowed through the roots of ancient trees, through the laughter of children in newly rebuilt villages, through the tears of those mourning lost loved ones. It shimmered in passing starships, whispered between drifting clouds, and pulsed in the hearts of every living being. Jedi meditated on this connection daily, feeling strength swell not from individual might, but from shared existence. This understanding became their compass, guiding them gently through even the darkest nights. And in that quiet awareness, they sensed that the galaxy, though wounded, remained alive with possibility. 85. Ecosystems in recovery. After the disasters that rippled across the galaxy, many worlds turned their attention toward healing not just people, but the land itself. Forests scorched by falling debris began to sprout new life, their first tender leaves trembling in dawn light. Oceans disturbed by shock waves calmed slowly, returning to their natural rhythms as schools of luminous fish shimmered once again beneath the waves. Jedi healers assisted local botanists and conservationists, using their sensitivity to the living force to guide restoration efforts. Together, they replanted seedlings, stabilized fragile cliffs, and comforted frightened wildlife still wary from recent turmoil. And in the gentle return of green valleys and clear waters, the galaxy found hope blooming quietly once more. 86. Trade routes woven back together. The Great Disaster fractured hyperspace routes like shattered glass, leaving merchant families and supply ships drifting in uncertainty. But over time, navigators, engineers, and Jedi worked hand in hand to mend those pathways. Star maps were updated with careful precision. New beacons were placed with soft-lit pulses, and once broken lanes shimmered open again like threads rewoven into a tapestry. Traders traveled cautiously at first, whispering thanks when journeys passed without incident. Frontier communities that had gone weeks without medicine or tools welcomed returning ships with tears of relief. Slowly, the gentle hum of commerce, the quiet lifeblood of distant worlds, began to flow again. And with each successful voyage, the galaxy felt its fractured connections begin to mend. 87. Small acts of courage everywhere. Throughout the High Republic's later years, courage appeared not only in grand battles, but in small, tender moments that rarely reach the archives. A mother comforting her frightened child during a blackout. A farmer sharing the last of their stored grain with a neighbor in need. A service droid who continued its duties despite structural damage, ensuring its community stayed warm through cold nights. Jedi noticed these acts with deep gratitude, recognizing that the true strength of the galaxy lived not only in temples or starships, but in the hearts of ordinary beings who chose kindness over fear. And with every quiet act of bravery, the Force seemed to glow a little brighter across the stars. 88. Hope rekindled through community. As the High Republic worked to rebuild, communities across the galaxy discovered strength in togetherness. Villages that once felt isolated opened their doors to displaced families, offering spare rooms, warm meals, and soft blankets stitched with care. Spaceports set aside quiet lounges where travelers could rest, meditate, or simply breathe without fear. Artists painted murals celebrating resilience, vast, sweeping images of stars rising over broken landscapes, reminding everyone that light returns even after the longest night. Jedi visiting these places felt the Force shimmering with renewed warmth, fed by the compassion flowing freely among everyday beings. And in those simple, heartfelt gestures, the galaxy's spirit slowly stitched itself back together, one gentle act at a time. 89. Lessons from the survivors. Survivors of the disaster carried wisdom forged in hardship. Many spoke softly about the fragility of peace, urging others not to take calm days for granted. They taught their children how to read the stars, how to prepare for emergencies, and how to trust both their neighbors and themselves. Jedi listened closely to these stories, humbled by the resilience of those who had endured the unimaginable. Out of respect, they recorded testimonies and holocrons, quiet voices preserved so future generations could learn from their strength. These survivors were not defined by trauma, but by the courage they found within it. And through their lived wisdom, the galaxy learned to honor both sorrow and endurance in equal measure. 90. The Force shifting. Once more, even amid recovery, Jedi Masters sensed the Force stirring in subtle, unfamiliar ways. Meditations that once felt smooth and clear now revealed hints of turbulence beneath the surface, like currents swirling through deep water. Some nights described visions of paths splitting, converging, then splitting again. Possibilities branching like trees in unpredictable patterns. Not all of these sensations brought fear. Many felt more like the galaxy adjusting, as though change itself were a natural breath being drawn. The Force was not withdrawing. It was evolving, preparing the order for challenges they could not yet see. And in that shifting energy, the Jedi found both caution and quiet wonder, trusting the Force to guide them onward. 91. Worlds finding their rhythm. Again, as the galaxy healed, planets scarred by chaos slowly rediscovered their natural rhythms. Markets reopened with cautious joy, their stalls filled once more with fragrant spices, soft fabrics, and handmade trinkets shaped by local artisans. Rivers that had run dark from debris returned to their clear, reflective stillness, mirroring passing clouds like drifting dreams. Children played in sunlit streets, their laughter echoing through rebuilt neighborhoods as though inviting hope to stay a little longer. Even night skies felt gentler, stars shining with a renewed clarity, as though proud of those who refused to surrender to despair. And as each world found its steady heartbeat again, the galaxy moved forward with a deeper appreciation for every peaceful moment. 92. Quiet guardians of the Outer Rim. Far from the core, the Jedi stationed along the Outer Rim became symbols of gentle protection. They lived among farmers, traders, and settlers, sharing meals around campfires where warmth glowed against the night. These guardians did not demand respect. They earned it through presence, kindness, and unwavering calm during uncertainty. They mediated disputes with patience, taught children simple meditation techniques, and helped rebuild when storms or raiders threatened fragile communities. Many settlers spoke of feeling safer simply knowing a Jedi walked their world, even if they never saw them directly. Their footsteps, light upon dusty trails, carried reassurance farther than words could. And in those quiet acts of protection, the Outer Rim found solace in the promise that they were not forgotten. 93. The ever-turning wheel of the Force. With every passing season, Jedi Masters reflected on how the Force continued to shift, sometimes bright and vibrant, sometimes shadowed and introspective. They compared it to a great wheel turning slowly across eternity, each rotation bringing new lessons, new challenges, and new opportunities for growth. The High Republic had seen both radiant peace and devastating loss. Yet through it all, the Force remained constant in its gentle guidance. Masters taught their Padawans to trust not in the certainty of circumstance, but in their connection to the living energy that bound every heartbeat, every star, every moment of existence. And as they breathed in the quiet truth of that wisdom, the Jedi felt the galaxy preparing for whatever dawn might follow the night. 94. Echoes of Lost Temples. Across forgotten worlds, ancient Jedi temples from eras long before the High Republic still stood in quiet reverence. Their stone corridors were softened by time, their once sharp carvings now worn into gentle curves by wind, sand, and passing generations. Jedi explorers stepped lightly inside these ruins, feeling the lingering warmth of those who had meditated there centuries earlier. Some halls whispered with faint traces of past lessons, as though the Force itself remembered every voice that once filled the space. Moss grew between cracked tiles, sunlight filtered through broken ceilings, and soft breezes carried scents of old worlds healing themselves. And within those peaceful echoes, Jedi felt humbled, reminded that they were but one chapter in a far greater story. 95. Wanderers of the High Republic. Not all who served the era's peace were Jedi or senators. Some were wanderers, scholars, artists, musicians, and philosophers who drifted from world to world, sharing wisdom as gently as falling snow. They taught frontier children how to read the stars, helped rebuild libraries with donated books, and played soothing melodies in bustling marketplaces where tension lingered. Their presence was subtle but essential, filling gaps where neither Republic officials nor Jedi could always reach. These wanderers believed deeply that cultures thrived when stories, songs, and ideas were exchanged freely. Everywhere they traveled, new friendships blossomed, weaving invisible threads of unity across distant systems. And through their quiet journeys, they nurtured the soft heartbeat of hope that pulsed beneath the era's turbulence. 96. A galaxy, preparing for change. As seasons passed, a subtle awareness settled over the galaxy, an understanding that the Golden Age was shifting, evolving into something new. Jedi sensed the change like a distant storm cloud on a clear horizon, faint yet undeniable. Politicians debated what form the Republic should take in a world newly reminded of its fragility. Families rebuilt with care, cherishing traditions while cautiously embracing the future. Even the Force felt different, its currents swirling with possibilities that defied easy interpretation. But change did not bring only fear. It brought opportunity, renewal, and the promise of growth born from hardship. And in this turning moment, the galaxy inhaled deeply, ready to face whatever dawn awaited on the other side of the night. 97. Wisdom passed to the next era as the High Republic entered its twilight. The teachings of its greatest masters were carefully preserved for generations yet to come. Holocrons glowed softly in meditation chambers, their crystalline forms humming with echoes of compassion, courage, and clarity. Padawans gathered around these ancient devices, listening to recordings of voices long gone, absorbing lessons shaped by centuries of experience. Temples held quiet ceremonies, honoring teachers who had guided the order through peace and tragedy alike. These rituals were simple, soft chants, candles flickering in gentle patterns, and moments of shared silence that bound everyone present. And through these preserved teachings, the Jedi ensured that the wisdom of their brightest era would continue to illuminate the path ahead, no matter how dark the journey became. 98. Hope, growing in new hearts. Even amid uncertainty, new life flourished across the galaxy. Babies were born in frontier clinics, rebuilt with community care. Younglings entered the Jedi Temple for the first time, gazing wide-eyed at towering halls filled with soothing light. Their curiosity radiated like tiny stars, bright, warm, impossible to extinguish. The Order welcomed them with open arms, gently guiding their first steps into meditation, their first playful attempts at levitating small wooden spheres, their first understanding that the Force was not a power to wield, but a friend to walk beside. Families across the Republic, too, found hope in their children's laughter. And in these new hearts, the promise of renewal bloomed softly, reminding all that the future was not lost. It was simply waiting to grow. 99. The quiet before the next dawn. As the High Republic era drew toward its close, a strange stillness settled across hyperspace. It was neither peace nor turmoil, but a reflective pause. The galaxy catching its breath before stepping into a future it could not yet see clearly. Jedi meditated beneath starlight, listening for guidance in the subtle currents of the Force. Republic leaders held long, thoughtful councils, illuminated by the warm glow of floating lanterns. Ordinary citizens tended gardens, repaired homes, and whispered gentle hopes for stability. Across countless worlds, life continued, steady and soft. And in that delicate quiet, the galaxy sensed that change was coming, but so too was the chance for renewal. 100. The legacy of the High Republic. In the soft glow of history, the High Republic lingers like a warm ember, its light gentle, steady, and unforgettable. Though the era faced storms that tested the strength of its people, it remained defined not by its trials, but by the kindness, hope, and unity that blossomed even in darkness. Jedi who walked this age carried wisdom that would echo across centuries, their teachings woven into the Force like quiet constellations guiding future generations. Worlds rebuilt, families healed, and younglings stepped forward to continue the journey their predecessors began. The Golden Era did not end. It transformed, leaving lessons as enduring as starlight. And as the galaxy drifted into its next chapter, the High Republic's legacy shimmered softly behind it, a reminder that even in uncertain times, the light of compassion can rise again, brighter than ever. And now, as our peaceful voyage through the High Republic draws to a close, may the Force bring balance to your mind and deep, soothing quiet to your dreams. If these stories helped you drift into the stars, remember to like, subscribe, and share which corner of the galaxy you'd love to fall asleep to next. When you're ready to continue dreaming, tap the end screen to explore the next soft journey. Whether it's the legends of the Jedi, the mysteries of the Force, or the quiet hum of distant worlds beneath twin suns. Rest well, traveler. The Force will guide your dreams. Until we meet again.